Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Finally, here I am again. You guys have been so supportive and sweet during this time of a break. I'm Tiffany and I make videos about skincare, makeup, and motherhood. And this video is a little bit different. I am modeling these days and I wanted to share a little bit about my story and why I have started pursuing it full force. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions about this, please do leave them down below. Don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let's get into the video. So to start off, yes, I have started modeling. People ask me all the time. I've been posting some work I've been doing on Instagram, which my Instagram is @TiffanyFajan. Remember the first time I ever even considered pursuing modeling? I think I was in 7th grade or 8th grade, and a friend of mine was like, hey, I got this phone number for a modeling agency and it'd be really cool, we can be models together. And I was like, okay. My dog's drinking water over here. I was like, okay, I guess like I've always been kind of tall for my age, and sure. And so I went over to her house after school. I rode the bus home with her, and she pulled out the little phone number that she scribbled down, and we gave them a phone call, and they asked, like, number one, how old we were, which we were way too young. So they're like, yeah, you're gonna need to be either over 18 or you're gonna need to have a parent talk to us. And we're like, oh, of course. So it kind of stopped there for me. And a little thing called America's Next Top Model came out, and I was inspired. I was like, yes, this is it. I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna practice in the mirror. I believe I could be on it someday. Yeah, so I just like was so inspired by it. I loved all the challenges and I loved what Tyra Banks stood for, you know, being a powerful woman, like, you know, standing up for yourself, and you can pursue modeling even though you've had like a background in whatever, you know, because she scouts models from all over the place. So I was like, yeah, this is awesome. So I was so inspired. Watched it all throughout high school. And also like back when Disney Channel was a thing, I was like, well, I mean, it still is a thing, but when it was a thing for me, I was obsessed with it. I was like, oh, I could be an actress. Oh my gosh, I could be on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I could be on Hannah Montana. I don't know. I was like, why can't I be them? They're kids like me. Why can't I be an actor? Why can't I be an actress? So that kind of was a little, like a little desire in my heart back then too. So all throughout high school, I loved modeling. For a photographer friend of ours, he asked if my sister and I would want to take photos here and there, you know, being out in the autumn leaves and stuff like that. And I was like, get my picture taken? Sure. I don't have to take a picture myself in my digital camera. Sure. Or my flip phone, you know, you have to turn your camera around and take photos that way. I was an expert at that, by the way. How many of you guys had a flip phone that you took photos of yourself? Maybe that sounds too self-centered, I don't know. So I would fix up my MySpace with all these like cool photos that were like highly contrasted, and I felt like such a model, you know. So then I meet Drew, and we are, you know, I am fully dating and finishing high school, and I just kind of pushed that off to the back burner. Then Drew and I get married, and photographers start asking us if we want to model for them and, you know, set up some like, what are they called? Like styled photo shoots. So we have, I think technically we've been married once, but we've had probably about 4 or 5 weddings because of all these photo shoots that we've done. And so I've really, like, I love the feeling of modeling. I love the feeling of, you know, getting your picture taken and working together with a photographer and, you know, creating this scenery, and it's like acting, and I've always really liked acting. So, so that's kind of been like the background of it. I walked in 2 runway shows when I was in high school as well. One for TG Catwalk, their hairline. They opened a Fagan's near where I live, and then also Aveda Institute. In Portland, they had a catwalk for water, which has changed its name, but I walked for somebody a cousin of a coworker when I worked at a restaurant scouted me. She's like, hey, can you be my hair model for this like runway? I was like, okay. And I loved it. So nowadays I have, last year, okay. Then I got my aesthetics license, and I knew I always wanted to be backstage at a fashion show, and I've done makeup for weddings for friends, and then I got my license and worked at a skincare studio, and I finally had an opportunity to work backstage at a fashion show. A photographer friend of mine did my maternity photos for when I was having Oliver, and the makeup artist there was like, oh, you're a makeup artist, let's work together backstage. So I, of course, like immediately was like, yes. I don't know what I'm doing that day, but I'm going to that show. So I did makeup backstage last year at Fashion Next, which is an event here in Portland. It's a big fashion show, 4 nights. And so I assisted backstage, and I like was secretly like, I wish I could be a model. Like hey, if you guys need somebody to fill in, I can model for you, But of course that didn't happen. But this year I was bold enough to reach out to a model friend of mine who also was working backstage at Fashion Next last year. And I was like, hey, I'm kind of thinking about going to the open casting call for Fashion Next this year. Should I do it? And she was like, yes, do it. And so I just went to this casting call, and I was so nervous. And if you guys want to hear about that story, comment down below and I can do another video about like casting calls and stuff like that. And I felt like I was doing really well, but I wasn't for sure because it was my first time going to an open call. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. And then I got an email saying, we want you to walk in Fashion Next. And so that's what I did this year. And I was like, wow, I could really do this. I could really do this. I feel like my body is in a place where, I feel comfortable in it again. I feel like myself again after having a child. And so I was like, I feel like this is like my most confident self that I've been in. So I started reaching out to modeling agencies, and I went to 2 open casting calls to 2 different agencies. And I was like, I didn't really feel connected to them very well. They didn't feel connected to me, and they were like, oh, thanks for coming in, but I didn't hear anything back. And then I went to this other agency called Ryan Artists, and it's also an agency of a couple of other model friends that I know, and I've heard nothing but good things. So I went to their open casting call, and I was like, I'm gonna pursue this. I'm gonna do this. Like, I can make some money off this, why not get paid for something that I really love doing, creating art and stuff like that. And so I went to that casting call, and they said that they would let me know by that following Friday. And sure enough, I got an email from them saying that they wanted me to join their team. So I'm so thankful to them for that. And I'm really looking forward to the opportunities that I get through an agency. And yeah, that is where I am today. I am, just looking at fashion shows coming up and trying to book things with photographers and stuff. And I'm like so excited for this journey that I'm on with modeling. And I just wanted to share my, how I got here story. And what other videos did you want to see? Like, I'm curious to know what you're curious about. Of course, I'm still going to be doing makeup videos and motherhood videos and stuff like that, but I figured this would reach another audience. And, maybe you want to hear my why, like, why did I start modeling? And yeah, so don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Thank you. Bye.